Hey guys, welcome to my podcast. Second episode. I'm Dr. Greg. I'm a psychologist, coach, relationship and sex therapist, and I'm the founder of Properly Partnered, my solution based program for gay men who want to connect and fall in love and establish real, authentic connections with other men. And I created the program out of my own need to deal with my loneliness and my realization that the reason my life was going the way it was because of my actions, my behaviors. That nothing is left up to chance, nothing is happening to me, that I am the creator of my life. I'm the creator of my relationships. I'm the creator of my experiences. So when I realized this about myself and took a good look inward after having years of psychotherapy, group therapy, psychoanalysis, individual therapy, couples therapy, and being a psychologist myself, working with gay men and couples for years, I realized that I was doing it all wrong. That there were no rules, that there's no expectations, that there's no hard stuff about this, that life is not a job. Life is not work. Life is not something that we have to struggle with. And being happy should not exhaust us. In fact, I discovered that by going with the flow and just quieting our minds long enough to go inside and find out and listen to what our heart is telling us, all the answers are in here. All the answers. And by becoming the truest versions of ourselves, letting all the craziness and the expectations and the rules and the pressures and the beliefs and the thoughts and the fears just gently fall to the side, not fighting them, not pushing against them, but just letting them fall off. The universe gives us everything we want. And when I discovered this, I decided that I am going to not only employ this in my life, which has worked amazingly, and I'm going to teach you about it, but also to share it, because I see my gay brothers floundering, struggling, dealing with so much loneliness, so much lack of connection, so much superficiality, and it's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. So today's podcast is going to be about the hidden cost of being too independent in your relationships with men. Why the right men don't notice you. Why you're not getting the attention from the kind of men that you want in your life, that you look for, that you know will bring you a sense of fulfillment, a sense of connection, somebody to be with, to share life with, to bounce ideas off of, to support and feel supported by, to enjoy making love with and having sex with, the excitements of life, the pains of life, to not have to go through this journey alone. I happen to love my alone time. I really enjoy my space. My husband knows that I really can get into being with myself, whatever that means. And I have no problem spending my time just being me, like I am right now. But I'm here with you guys. And it's also nice to be able to share moments voluntarily with the people that I choose in my life that bring me happiness, that make me feel good, that contribute positively to my experience on this earth. So rather than a sense of feeling like I need someone there, I go about my relationships in a way of thinking that I want someone there. I want someone because it makes me feel good. Now, I have some notes down here in the screen, in the bottom corner of my screen, and I'm telling you this because I want you to know that when I'm looking at you right now, like I am right now, I'm looking at you guys. When I'm looking at my notes, you're going to see me do this, and then I'm going to look back at you and back and forth and so forth. And I'm telling you this because I want you to know that I'm not reading to you, because that is really rude. That would really be rude for me to be reading instead of talking to you. So when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. When I'm reading my notes, I'm looking at my notes. So hopefully that makes sense. And you know when I'm looking at my outline and when I am really with you here. I really want to be present with you, just like you are with me. So what we're going to talk today about is how a sense of creating a perception of emotional independence, that of not needing anyone, how that actually can make you invisible and push away connection from men. So when I shared a few moments ago that I enjoy my time alone, I enjoy my space, that's because I'm at peace with who I am. I can really entertain myself. I laugh when I'm alone. I have a great time. I sing. If my dog is there, I'm singing to him. If he's not there, I'm still singing to him. I just have a good time, you know? I put on the music I want. I wear what I want, or I don't wear anything. I just really enjoy the company of my own self. And that works with my relationships because the guys that I spend time with know, they know because of who I am, that I'm with them because I want to be, that I don't need to be with them, that I'm not jumping all over them or I'm not tripping over myself to be with people or to prove anything, because I'm making a choice in that moment or that day or that week or that year. Because by making it seem like I don't need anybody, or knowing that I don't need in a way of completing me, I don't need someone to complete me, that's attractive. That's attractive to someone healthy, because a healthy person also wants to connect to you on a voluntary level that doesn't feel sticky or 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 um or tough or inflexible or needy. Nobody wants that. That doesn't feel good. But when a person knows that I'm with them because I'm choosing to be with them, to integrate them into my already pre-existing happy life, that's healthy. Then we can be ourselves, and that's where the true sharing begins. However, what I'm talking about here is very different from what some people do. A lot of men, in order to defend against their desire to have a connection with someone, have developed a defense. This defense of, I don't need anybody. I don't need anyone. And they live this mantra and repeat this mantra. And this not needing anyone turns into an utter denial, a denial of the fact that we are social beings. We human beings are dependent upon one another. We need human relationships to survive, in order to thrive. That's how we do best, when we're in connection with one another. So there has to be balance. And when you go into a place of hyper independence, we could call it, this sense of giving off a sense of, well, you know, I can take it or leave it. You know, if you talk to me, fine. If you don't talk to me, fine too. If, you know, if you go out with me or if you call me back, I don't care. You know, I don't need anybody. I don't need anything. That's bull. That's not true. We all do. We need each other, and we are all susceptible to rejection, to feeling complimented, to feeling loved and desired, as well as when we feel abandoned or ignored. So acting as if we don't have those needs flies in the face of creating authentic connections because it will repel. See, I was trying to read a word down there just now and I screwed it up. It repels emotionally available partners. They sense it. It comes out in our body language. It comes out in the things that we say. We're often unconsciously saying and doing things that are pushing away men because on their unconscious mind, they're hearing and seeing our signals and thinking, well, this guy, he doesn't need me. He doesn't want me. And even if I do go after him, he's probably going to realize that he doesn't feel any need to connect with me. So why bother? Got it, guys? Does that make sense? So today we're going to unpack how gay men unconsciously signal, I'm not available, even when you think you're being open, and what it takes to be seen by the right men. So while a sense of independence, of not needing to rely on others or not looking for others might work in a professional setting or in a business setting, I don't even know if it's helpful then, but it might work in some areas of life, but it doesn't work in our personal emotional life. And it will bite us in the ass and shoot ourselves in the foot if we go around not able to admit that we need and want connection. So, how do we find a balance between acknowledging that you want connection and need love, and also being able to be independent enough and hold your own and not put yourself in a place of desperation and neediness, because that's just yucky. So if you've ever thought, I'm doing everything right, so why isn't anyone choosing me? Then keep listening to this, because that's what we're going to go over. I don't need anyone. Sounds empowering, right? It actually represents an underlying fear. Saying I don't need anyone is a way of our protecting ourselves. It's a protective mechanism that many of us use after having been hurt, after having been rejected, after having gone through experiences that have been damaging and hurtful to us. You know, there's a quiet pride that I have seen many gay men carrying around, being self-reliant, such as, well, you know, it's almost a jadedness sometimes based on things that may have actually happened, but they get over-focused on and they prevent us from being able to say, you know, hey, you know, it really did bug me when you didn't return my phone call. Or, you know, when we get ghosted or someone doesn't respond to us, or when that person doesn't follow through and get back to us. And then later on, they're like, oh, so sorry, I was busy. I had so much work. And then you might be like, oh, it's cool. No worries. No, it's not cool. It's not cool. And it's not cool to say it's not cool. Now, I'm not suggesting you got to rip the guy a new one either. You don't have to be mean or nasty or like come down on the person like a Catholic school nun with the ruler that's going to now like punish him for that. Oh my gosh, they're doing construction. I don't know if you can hear that. What timing? My gosh. So anyway, but we're continuing with this. You don't have to be mean or nasty, but be real, be authentic and say, hey, I was disappointed. I was waiting for you. You know, it sucks that you didn't get back to me. And then, of course, move to the positive, be grateful and say, hey, but you're here now. Something like that, you know? We're not talking about putting up with constant abuse, but we're talking about being real enough to show your vulnerability. You know, you don't want to signal to the guy you're not needed. You don't want to do that. Emotionally available men aren't looking for someone to fix or impress them. They're looking for somebody who's open. So if your energy says, I've got this handled, I'm cool, I'm good, they'll believe you and they'll move on. Because emotionally available men who are looking for connection want interdependence. They're looking for someone who's able to need them. They're looking for someone who's able to say, hey, come here. I want you. I need you. And that to know that you'll respond in kind when they do the same. So a sense of, no, I'm good, or no, I'm cool, or no, that doesn't matter, or I don't care, or this doesn't bother me, or that doesn't bother me. That is not amenable to connection. So keep in mind, guys, the key line is that if you send across this message that you don't need anybody, they're going to believe you and they're just going to pass right on by. Hence, they're not connecting with you. They're not sensing your openness. All right. You may think that you're showing interest, but your nervous system is showing guardedness. Our unconscious is way more active than our conscious. Most of what we do in life, about minimum 80%, probably more like 90% of our actions, what we say, do, think, and feel is unconscious. We don't plan it consciously. So we're not aware of what we're doing. So through our body language, through our tone of voice, through our looks, we're showing guardedness. Like I know, for example, I have had this tendency throughout my life, and I know a lot of people do it too. Like, what have I done when there's a guy I really like? Not look at him, right? Who does that? Somebody you really like. You avoid his look, his stare like the plague. The last thing you're going to do is look at him, or much less, definitely not, say hi to him. So when we like someone, we're attracted to them, we don't look at them and we avoid them and ignore them. Come on, think about it. So that's a behavior that we do, but I think we do that deliberately. Though that's not even unconscious. Let's talk about some of the unconscious behaviors that we do. Over-explaining your independence. Oh yeah, well, I have my own car, I have my own apartment, I have my own job, I have my own dog, I cook for myself, I clean for myself. It's like exaggerating how self-sufficient you are. Not that there's anything wrong with being self-sufficient, but that dramatization of it, that repetitiveness of it is like really drives home the fact that, well, there's no room for you in my life. Avoiding vulnerability, avoiding saying how you feel or admitting a weakness or admitting that you wanted something from the person or needed something from the person. It's just not conducive to relationships. So holding back and waiting for them to give the first signal or for them to open up, you're just delaying the process and it may not happen at all. Another way of making others see that we're not available is by minimizing or dismissing our own needs. Like I said earlier, and keeping conversations surface level. One of the biggest frustrations that I hear from gay men that I work with is, I just don't feel like there's a connection. I don't feel like we're having a chemistry. Well, what type of things do you talk about when you get together? Do you ask them questions and then really listen and then follow up on them? Do you talk about what bothers you? Do you talk about what you desire and what you value in your life? Do you talk about quality things about your relationship together? Are you able to be real and say, hey, when you said this to me the other day, it really bothered me, or I really don't like what happened when we went to the movies, with the person that was sitting behind us. I'd like to talk about that. Substantial meat and potatoes conversations are what show that we're really able to go deeper. Emotionally safe, available men will read all of these cues as you not being open, that you're, I don't know, not looking for something real, or maybe you're still healing from something. Because if you're revealing your trauma, then people are, guys who are really ready to relate they're going to pass you on. They're going to say, oh, no, he's not on the right channel right now. I'm not going to hang around here. Why would I hang around here? So you're not being overlooked because you're not attractive, okay? I can't repeat this enough. I just got several messages earlier this week from guys coming into my Facebook group saying, well, the guys aren't into me because I'm a bottom. The guys, they pass over me because I'm black. Guys don't talk to me because I'm old. Nobody wants to be with a guy who is missing an arm or that has a disability or that has an accent or whatever it is. There's always an excuse, but you're not being overlooked because of that. It's because your energy says closed. It's because your energy says you're not there. You're just not there. And guys, you got to identify what that is and start working on that, because you cannot determine, decide, or predict what someone else is going to be into. You cannot assume that they're not going to like your color or your height or whether you have 10 toes or 9 toes or this or that. I mean, I have one ear sticking out way more than the other. And all I can do sometimes is when I'm looking at myself in the screen or in the camera is I see that. I see the one ear out further than the other. And am I going to sit here and say that I'm unlovable because of that? Because I don't know, either a lot of men in this world have bad vision or completely skewed eyesight, or they just don't care. You probably can't even notice it, I'm sure. But of course I do, because I'm being hard on myself. And it's not only that, but there's so many things I do it with. So I have to focus on being open to receiving and allowing myself to be lovable. Not always an easy task, gentlemen, I will admit. So, a better way to be seen. Let's talk about this for a few minutes. Being seen by the right men requires vulnerability, not performance. So, being vulnerable, opening yourself up to guys and showing your needs, it's strength. It shows strength. It shows manliness. It shows presence. It's not scary. It's not a weakness. Emotional transparency is a filter. It's a filter. By you saying how you feel, good and bad, you're going to repel the wrong men. You're going to automatically filter in the right ones, the ones that are willing to truly connect, and it will get rid of the ones that aren't interested. You have to be yourself. Lead with truth, not perfection. Just be you, like I said earlier. All right, there's some things you might want to ask yourself, guys, as you reflect. Ask yourself, where in your dating life have you been trying to prove that you're worthy instead of just being yourself? Where have you been trying to prove you're worthy rather than just being yourself? Ask yourself, am I afraid to be seen because I'm still judging the parts of myself that I would have to show? Being seen is risky. However, if you want real love, it's a risk worth taking, and you can't stay hidden behind that vulnerability. All right, guys, let's come into finishing off, and I look forward to any questions you may have. You know how to message me. You can reach me via my Facebook group, Properly Partnered, or, of course, my website, properlypartnered.com. Your independence may be making you invisible to the kind of man who's really looking for and ready for a relationship. You don't want to look like you don't need anybody. But this is a pattern that can be shifted, not by changing who you are, but by changing the way you relate, reconditioning the way you relate and how you allow yourself to be seen by other men. So if you realize today that your energy might be pushing the right men away, and you're ready to talk about what it would be like to be truly open, I'd love to help. Message me and we'll schedule a private video call. You don't need to tone yourself down, but you do need to take the armor off.